Now, when were you originally at Estoi?
I was there on Friday the 25th, I think it is. Let's take a look. 25th, yeah. Friday the 25th, 26th, 27th. And I found the pigeon on the 25th,
Okay.
Jesus' birthday.
Is it?
And, well, supposedly. And then the 27th was when they removed it, evening of the 27th.
It's a wet mark now. Wet spot there. Where it's
That's pretty interesting because HaMashiach Ben David was saying that you would be the changeover from the lion to the scales. So from changeover from Leo to 22nd, 23rd.
We actually had to stop for a second there because I wanted to show you the pictures that I had taken at Estoi so we could talk about them together. And we've had some technical problems. What else is new? And so we found a way of doing it. I won't tell you how, but I was able to get the pictures to you. And now we can go through them. Okay? So I ended up going to Estoi, and like I said, the manager was really cooperative. He's a nice guy. And he said, you got 5 minutes, if that, And so I went running in and I zoomed down. I know my way around now. Went straight to the bench. And they had some stuff out because it's a big event. And if you look at the very first picture, Greg, you can see that they've got 3 columns in front of the bench. And they're round stools, right? But they put them right in front of the gargoyle / griffins. And what's neat about this picture is if you can zoom in on the picture, are you able to zoom in on that?
Yeah.
Okay, keep zooming in, and you'll see right in front of the bench, there's still kind of a moist spot. But if you really go close in, I'm not able to do it right now, but I did it earlier.
Yeah.
And there's a little face in there. And when you said that the planet looked at you, I thought to myself, oh my God, that was the face I saw in the ground, in the sand, that looked at me. Can you see it?
So you're talking about the face at the top of the marble couch?
No, I am talking about, look at the bench and then zoom in right in front of the bench and into the sand. And you'll see kind of an indent in the sand. It's still kind of moist. That's where the bird was, that indent there.
Yeah.
If you're able to really go close up into that, right now I can't on this, but if you're able to go really close up into it, you'll actually see a face there. It shocked the hell out of me. It was like, what the? That's an actual face.
You're talking about pareidolia.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Well,
okay.
Okay.
So then the bench itself, you can see that they're more like griffins, aren't they?
Yeah.
They had a gargoyle face. They had the big tongue that came out. Yeah. But they're winged creatures, and they've got the gargoyle / lion paws.
Yeah, they're quite eclectic.
Yeah. And they have a tail of a lion.
Yeah, and the man in the middle of the bench is actually on the bench. It's not above on the wall. It's actually on the bench.
Yeah.
As a green man. So he's got a moustache, goes all the way around, and comes up here, and it's quite leafy. And that's a man that represents Osiris, which is Anubis, husband of Isis.
He looks like Father Wind to me. His mouth is wide open. Yeah. With the long hair. That's what, And what's odd is if you go back and look at the details, if you're able to go close up into the bench, it actually looks like a duck that is, the bill has been taken off of it. Are you able to see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the creatures on each side, their tongues are sticking out, teeth are showing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very Maori, that.
Mm-hmm. And then right below each gargoyle / griffin is an X. If you go to just before the close-up on Father Wind, there is a close-up on the bench leg, right? So if you do a close-up of that, you can actually see a very strong X that is sitting in between the griffin's feet and the column, and then there's an X there. So what is that all? And then it looks like it drips down into a plant or leaves.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the X marking that binding. X marks the true King of England, but it's also marking fasces. Fasces are lying horizontal. So it kind of means place of law.
Okay, so you were talking about that the fact that there was a dead pigeon there, and it was there for 3 days.
Yeah.
You were saying that there was something really significant to that, right?
HaMashiach Ben David rang me up today, and about every 2 weeks, and he said, I just watched your video on the palace, and he said that it's really interesting there, and I need to make more noise about it. And he said, I took notes. This is what my notes look like. Even I was going to type them up, but instead I had a beer. So he's giving some background. I said, what do you want me to mention? And he said, gave me about 6 points. So here they are. The two Mashiachs met in May, June 2023 and went to the predicted place and broke the codes, with the high orders standing right next to us taking notes for 4 hours between 11 and 3 p.m. So we're there doing our stuff, especially Mashiach Ben David's doing his stuff. And the high orders, which are women with pale ginger hair, white tops and lower bottom halves on, and like the high initiates of Ishtar. And so they're standing right next to us. So I could look down at their notes and what they were writing and that. And I didn't seem to mind. But they followed through.
Okay, you lost me on this. What is this all about? I don't understand.
What it's about bringing in the new age.
Okay.
And it's fulfilling the predictions for the new age. There's a whole lot of predictions that will happen. And what we noticed, we spoke for about an hour and a half today, and what we've been noticing is that it's happening to the letter, absolutely, just completely to the letter. A lot of the stuff is in the Bible predictions, absolutely to the letter. So the hair, this is what he said, the hair returned to bring the line back into the light. We're talking about the Rex Deus line. The blade that was broken is now renewed. Estoi Palace, Templars, Rosicrucians, and Freemasons placed the pigeon between the two gargoyles, which is between the two pillars, and the gargoyles are the planets in alignment and all spinning backwards in retrograde at the moment. All planets are in retrograde.
So that was interesting because you said that they were in with the planets, and the first thing I saw was they were going backwards, which was weird because energy normally goes clockwise, but this was going counterclockwise, and it was spinning backwards. So then you said you had this conversation, and you were seeing that the planets were going backwards.
Well, that's what he's saying. I haven't checked up on it, but Muslims
it's accurate.
Muslims also saying that the core of Earth has stopped. Like it used to do 7.83 revolutions a day, the inner core, and flat earthers don't listen. But you can still have a flat earth and have an inner core spinning.
Absolutely.
And then it stopped, and then they're claiming that it's spinning in reverse.
Going backwards.
They're hoping that it's spinning in reverse, right? But, I actually predicted this back in 2003 in a book. I wrote called Flying Planet, never published it. And the SIS stole it and gave it to my mate in the SIS, who 10 days later invited me to lunch. And he said, your book, Flying the Planet, is shit. But here you go. What I wrote is happening.
So it wasn't shit at all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So are they reversing time by spinning backwards?
It's complex. I haven't got into it fully yet, but I say the pigeon was placed between the gargoyles, representing the two pillars, which is a Masonic thing.
Yep.
And the gargoyles are the planets in alignment, all spinning backwards in retrograde. The two gargoyles are representation of the scales, which is the tribe of Ephraim, the house of Joseph, which is represented by me, Mashiach ben Joseph, which is the balance in the scales. And that which crowned it was the lion, which is the green man in this instance, which is the tribe of Judah and the house of David, the conqueror, right? Mashiach ben David.
Okay, so put that in simple terms for me.
Not
that I'm simple, but
Mashiach ben Joseph and Mashiach ben David got together, and that's huge. And then they went to the right place and broke the codes, and that actually reflected in the same pattern reflected in the Schumann resonance.
Okay.
Same day was the same pattern on the wall that was discovered on the wall and on the wall and ceiling, on the wall there and on the wall and the ceilings, which marked the energy point, which huge. And then again repeated out.
Oh.
And only the returning Earl, the missing Earl for 170 years, could solve the problem. And this whole chapel was built for him to solve, and he just walked in and solved it all. And I was his seconder.
Wow.
Okay, so HaMashiach ben David is the conqueror, and HaMashiach ben Joseph is the balance. The conqueror on the balance. Right, and
what was that?
It's like just an image pop from one of yours. Okay, when the two are together, HaMashiach ben David and HaMashiach ben Joseph, who are cousins, which we are, but it's all like that. You've got a completion of prophecy, and the evil lay dead before it. That was the pigeon in the Rothschilds. Representation of the Rothschilds from the Battle of Waterloo, when they used their homing pigeons to fly back to bank and give the contrary message, and then misinterpret it, and then give the wrong message to the commodity burst, which is the stock exchange, profit from it, and then wait for the true message to come in and then buy all the stocks up for nicks.
To nothing.
Huge profit, and bankrupt the British royal family and then take over their breeding rights. That's what happened. The dead pigeon lying prone represents the Rothschilds lying prone between the two Mashiachs and the end of their evil empire, which is the Third and Fourth Reichs. So the Third Reich is German.
Yes.
Germans escaped to America and ran America under the
paperclip
of being the land of freedom. But if you actually go there, it's the most bureaucratic and communist country in the world. Sorry, guys, but it is, and you need to change it.
Yeah.
I
think a lot of Americans understand that now. Yeah.
Yeah. So then we looked at Zechariah, which goes from 1 to 14, and Zechariah has a lot to say about HaMashiach ben Joseph and HaMashiach ben David, and does it in great detail. So it's bringing forward the Messianic age. Prophecy is in Zechariah 2:12, 8:18, and it says we have to go to the appointed place in June, which we did, not in July, and then in August or September. It gave months of the year that we could go there.
Wow.
So we went there in June, so that was fulfilling the prophecy. But if we went there in July, the high orders would be looking at us going,
yeah, not quite the right time. You're missing the mark.
You're missing the mark. You're late or you're early. Which is it? Chabad.org, CHABAD.org. has a lot to say. It's called Chabad.org, and it's Mashiach ben Joseph Appendix 2. And it's got a lot of details about the two Mashiachs, and we were just reading through it. So he'd looked at it all before, and it's absolute description of him and an absolute description of me. It's quite fantastic. So it says, Joseph is a precious young man filled with dreams given to him from heaven.
I don't know about that description. You think that's accurate?
Personification of Gentile power. Personification of Gentile power.
Yeah.
And Joseph was the beloved of his father, who was a shepherd. So my father was a champion shearer. And HaMashiach ben Joseph is a great warrior, serpent slayer, and the ultimate enemy of Satan. And he's a champion fighter.
That sounds like me.
So
ultimate enemy of Satan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I've taken him down a few times, you know.
Yeah, so what he was saying, what HaMashiach ben David was saying, is that he wanted us to do an interview on this, basically on our previous interview, just to give it more oomph, to see that Estoi Palace is the end times palace, and having that pigeon there between the two gargoyle stand-ins, and the planets in retrograde or spinning backwards, and the green man or the lion in between is really prophetic. Yeah.
I know, I was just thinking, I was joking around here, but this is actually really profound, and it's quite serious. You know, this is a coming of everything's coming together. And
he said some other things about you.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh.
Want to hear them?
Sure.
He said, when was she in Estoi? I bet you it was around the changeover from the lion to the scales, which is from Libra, from August 22nd, 23rd, so from Leo into Virgo, which is the scales.
Mm-hmm.
And you were there
25th, 26th, 27th of August. Yeah.
And the actual change, I think, 22nd, 23rd, but some people actually think it's a few days later.
I was born on the 22nd, so of June. Yeah.
So anyway, so he got that time right, and then he said, I bet you she was sent by the Templars, the Rosicrucians, and
you got me holding on here. Come on now. Tell me. This is awesome.
And someone did sort of point you in that direction, didn't they?
Very much. So I told you the story about how I've been connected with the Templars since I was little, right? And my time in England when I was 13, and I had memories, absolute memories, you know, of being Anne Boleyn and them taking me out, hiding me. And so I was kneeling beside each tomb at the age of 13, saying thank you. I was whispering to the tombs of all the Templars. And my mom got so mad at me. She was like, Carrie, you're embarrassing me. Like, stand up. And I just couldn't help myself. I had to say thank you to each and every one of them, because I knew intuitively that, you know, this was history. And then I end up in Portugal, and Spirit is saying, find the cave, Carrie, find the cave, find the cave, find the cave, panic, panic. Now I understand why, because I had to get there before someone else did there, who we know, right? Because they were heading there.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I meet this person who is part of the Masons and the Knights Templar. And I think he knew that I was going to Estoi. And then there's the dead bird there.
Yeah.
And it's there for 3 days. Right?
Yeah.
It's just so profound how everything has just been, And I was involved with the end of the Mayan calendar, and I fought against this. I never told you this story. This is a whole nother story.